necktie that spread from Europe traces back to the Croatian mercenaries, serving in France during the 30 Years' War. These mercenaries from the Croatian military frontier, wearing their traditional small knotted neckerchiefs, aroused the interest of the French people. The boy King Louis began wearing a lace cravat around 1646 when he was 7 and set the fashion for the French nobility. This new article of clothing started a fashion craze in Europe. Both men and women wore pieces of fabric around their necks. From its introduction by the French king, men wore lace cravats or jabots that took a large amount of time and effort to arrange. These cravats were often tied in place by cravat strings, arranged neatly and tied in a bow. Around the 1800s, there was much interest in the way to tie a proper cravat. This began in 1818 when a style manual was published that contained illustrated instructions on how to tie 14 different cravats. Soon after, the immense skill required to tie a cravat in certain styles quickly became a mark of immense elegance and wealth. It was also the first book to use the word tie in association with neckwear. Another type of neckwear was the Ascot tie, was considered the rigueur of the male guests at the formal dinners and male spectators at races. These ascots had wide flaps that were crossed and pinned together on the. In Britain, regimental stripes have been continuously used in tie designs at least since the 1920s. In the Commonwealth countries, necktie stripes run from the left shoulder down to the right side. In Commonwealth countries, only people affiliated with a regiment or university, school or organization should wear a necktie affiliated with that regiment. Before the Second World War, ties were worn shorter than they are today. This was due in part to the men wearing trousers at the natural waist, more or less at the level of the belly button, and also due to the popularity of waistcoats where tie length is not important as long as the tips are concealed. Around 1994, ties started to become not only wider but even more wide. This was the beginning of what was later labeled the bold look. Ties that reflected the returning GL's desires to break with the wartime uniformity. Widths reached 5 inches and designs included Art Deco, hunting scenes, scenic photographs, tropical themes, and even girly prints. The bold look lasted until about 1951 when the Mr. T look was introduced. The new style, characterized by tapered suits, slimmer lapels, and smaller hat brims, included thinner and not so wide ties. The width slimmed to 3 inches by 1953 and continued to get thinner up until the mid-1960s. Length increased to about 52 inches as men started wearing their trousers lower, closer to the hips. The 1960s brought an influx of pop art influenced designs. The first was by Michael Fish when he worked at the Turnbull and Asser and was introduced in Britain in 1965. The term keeper tie was a pun on his name, as well as a reference to the triangular shape of the front of the tie. The traditional designs of the 1930s and 1950s, such as those produced by Total, reappeared particularly closely partnered. Ties began to be sold along with shirts, and designers slowly began to experiment with bordered colors. In the 1980s, narrower ties, some as narrow as 1/2 inches, but more typically 3 to 3 1/4 inches wide, became popular again. In the 1990s, as tie got wider again, increasingly unusual designs became common. Novelty or joke ties are deliberately kitsch ties designed to make a statement gained a certain popularity in the 1980s and in the 1990s. These included ties featuring cartoon characters, commercial products, or pop culture icons, and those made of unusual materials such as plastic or wood. During this period, with men wearing their trousers at the hips, ties lengthened to 57 inches.